then to 75, then asked for an offer. I waited, because as Eli and I had learned, it's never good to be the first one to bid. 40. A short, round, bald man called out, raising his paddle. The auctioneer rolled his eyes, then asked for 45. I hesitated until the last moment, then raised my paddle. Short, round, bald man and I went back and forth until we reached 100, then 2 more joined in. Most times auctioneers ask other bidders to wait until one of the 2 active bidders dropped off, but this one seemed okay with managing 4 ongoing bidders. Short, round, bald man dropped off at 200, leaving me to duke it out with soccer mom and metrosexual man. At 250, it was just me and metrosexual man. I'd been delaying my bids, shaking my head and eyeing the sideboard as if assessing whether it was worth this much money or not. A few times the auctioneer was close to calling it when I announced a counterbid. 300. I closed my eyes, knowing that I'd reached my limit. That was all I had, and as much as I loved this sideboard, I wasn't about to overspend in heat-of-the-moment excitement. The auctioneer paused to once more extol the virtues of this piece of furniture, then continued, asking for 305. Oh well, at least we'd come home with Henry's entertainment console. I felt a hand in mine, passing me a folded piece of paper. I looked down to see Henry pull his hand away. The paper I now held wasn't paper. It was a $10 bill. He'd spent 30 of his 40 on his purchase and was slipping me the rest. "Buy it," he whispered. I didn't have the heart to tell him that $10 most likely wouldn't make a difference at this point. Instead, I shot him a grateful smile and raised my paddle. 310. And then I waited for metrosexual man to counter with 315 or 320 and win the sideboard. Imagine my surprise when the auctioneer badgered the man, repeatedly urging him to bid higher. Metrosexual man pursed his lips and narrowed his eyes, considering the situation. Then he shook his head. "Going once, going twice. Sold to the lady for 310, bidder number 51. Neither of us had any money to spend on additional purchases, so Henry and I made our way to the cashier to settle up. I'd tried repeatedly to give him back his $10, but he refused, insisting that he'd get just as much enjoyment out of the sideboard as I would. I doubted that, but the kid did seem to like his antiques, so maybe having this in our dining room was worth $10 to him. Loading the truck was something I hadn't considered when I'd come to the auction. Back in the day, Eli and I had been young and strong, perfectly capable of manhandling whatever we bought into a truck or onto a trailer. After trying to help Henry with the entertainment console, I realized that I didn't quite have the muscle strength that I'd once had, and that a 13-year-old boy wasn't strong enough to lift a piece of furniture up to the bed of a pickup truck with only a 60-year-old woman for assistance. "Need some help?" a deep voice asked. I turned around with a smile to see a man who looked to be mid to late 60s. What hair he had was short and more silver than brown, but his arms were muscular under the tattoos. He looked like he'd spent a good bit of his life either at the gym or doing physically demanding work, and hadn't slacked off in retirement. "I'd appreciate it," I told him. He smiled, dark eyes crinkling up in the corners in an appealing fashion. I got the idea that back in the day, this guy had been a flirty heartbreaker. Actually, I got the idea that he probably still was. "Matt Poffenberger," he said, holding out his hand. "K. Carrera." I shook his hand, noting the calluses and firm grip. "Poffenberger, you're a relative of the owner's?" This was an estate auction. The Poffenberger